Let me introduce myself. Myself, Hanuma. I have around 9+ years of experience into automation testing. I have built the frameworks from scratch. From almost 7 years, I was into full automation. In Playwright, I have 4 years of experience and trainings. I am giving from past 1 year. I am giving trainings on the Playwright. So this session is mainly intention is to cover the Playwright and the with the TypeScript bindings. So Playwright supports all types of languages, all major languages, Java, C Sharp, Python, and JavaScript and TypeScript. So here this session is mainly for the Playwright with JavaScript or TypeScript. So why I am saying is JavaScript or TypeScript is both are JS. There is no difference between the coding in the TypeScript or JavaScript. I will tell you the difference, exact difference. What means JavaScript? What means TypeScript? What is the difference? Okay. So if somebody asks in the interview, also don't say as a if you have worked on TypeScript, don't say as I haven't worked on JavaScript. You have worked on JavaScript as well. Okay. So in this content, we mainly focus on the introduction about all the what are the tools and technologies we'll use and we'll set up. If you are facing any issues in setuping the things, I'll try to take the remote control. I'll install. I'll help you to clear out that setup, and we'll go through the Playwright framework setup, runner. Framework setup and the runner setup, and as well as the recording, so which is a beautiful option in the Playwright compared to other tools in the market. Playwright recorder is a to be unique, and it gives a exact scripts, but every tool having certain restrictions, but there are very less restrictions in the Playwright recorder. So it almost gives you the exact allocators and the actions whatever we are doing. And Playwright configuration, so Playwright configuration, we have many configuration options in the Playwright. You won't see these configuration options in any other tools. So all these configuration options, once you remember, it's dead easy for you to automate or to run your test scripts in a different ways. But in other automation tools, you have to do a many scripting things to achieve this configuration. But in Playwright, with the single set of key value pair configurations itself, you'll able to achieve the same thing. So that's how Playwright core was implemented by the Playwright team. So the core will take care of the options, whatever configuration options we are giving. It will execute the scripts based on the configuration whatever we are providing. And the locators, which is a heart of the any automation framework, web automation framework. So here, like Selenium, we have different um, what we can say. We have locator strategies here. So similar to Selenium, we have Selenium by.id, by.xpath. The similar way we have differently here in Playwright, but it is more effective comparatively. And the identification of element also, it is more unique in the Playwright. But in Selenium, always it will point to the first element, but in Playwright it's not like that. You have to give the uniqueness of the element each and every time. So the actions whatever you do perform on the web, all the actions are can be performed. And the assertions, so any test case, when we want to do, when we say the test case, we are validating something. So those validations will take care of as a part of assertions here. So these assertions are very friendly, and it will take care of all synchronization mechanisms. You no need to manually do the synchronization like Selenium. All the things will be taken care by the Playwright itself, but you have to configure that synchronization to till what point you have to wait. You have to give the configurations, just a configuration parameters, that's it. And the capturing the element attributes, so most of the times we used to validate the element attributes. So we can capture through the Playwright as well. And this is the synchronization process, how the synchronization will happen in the Playwright. So any automation tool, synchronization is the more critical part of the automation, because if the script execution and the page loading or the web page loading is not in sync, so automatically scripts will fail. But Playwright comes with a automatic synchronization with the page, so we no need to make more coding. So because of once we give the configuration, based on that configuration it will wait for that particular element is visible, stable, everything it will check. Okay, this is more important. So that's why if you see the Playwright in the recent days, it's more adopting by the people, as because the synchronization, the weights, everything is handled by Playwright internally itself. So once this part is completed, we'll try to focus on the TypeScript basic classes. So I'll give you 5 TypeScript basic classes. You can treat it as a JavaScript or TypeScript. I will provide 5 TypeScript basic classes that will be useful for implementing your own way of framework implementation. Because if I give the total TypeScript session itself, it will take 2 months of sessions, TypeScript itself. So whatever is required for automation, so those concepts I'll cover as part of this total training session. So once the training TypeScript sessions are completed, so here I'll be covering 2 real-time frameworks. One is plain Playwright, a standalone framework which comes as a similar to the TestNG, but compared to TestNG, Playwright comes with a different set of options for the execution of the test cases, and everything will be taken care by the Playwright itself. Okay, and the second framework is a most widely used BDD structure framework, Cucumber. So here we'll use a Cucumber framework as well. So these are the 2 frameworks we'll cover as part of this particular training session. With these 2 combination, and we'll try to cover the page object model as well, how to maintain the page objects, how to maintain the test data, everything we'll cover in this particular sessions. And apart from that, so we came to the situation of we are doing the automation, but how to report these things. All the reporting things or CI/CD things will cover in 3 sessions: how to set up the Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, how to execute the Git, GitHub Actions pipelines. All those things will cover in this 3 or 4 sessions max. Okay, so you will get hands on how to write a pipelines. You will get a hands on how to build a framework from scratch in these sessions. Okay, so this is all. Do you have any other doubts? I'll show you the some trends, what is happening across the industry, who is adopting what. Any doubts in the meantime?
So so reporting will be like, as of today, report, like, one of the good thing with Playwright is reporting is out of box, and you can do, like, clicks, or, like, the art wait times and all are, like, in coming out of box. So what will be part of framework?
So part of framework is something. So if you see the framework structure anywhere, so the framework consists of how you are maintaining your test data, how you are maintaining your application data, okay, and how you are maintaining the objects, which is more important. Okay, how you are maintaining your objects, how you are accessing those objects, and how you are destroying those objects. And the part is the locators, how you are maintaining your locators in the page object model in the framework. Okay, so we have 2 different types of frameworks, right? One is a Playwright standalone, and another one is a Cucumber. So in the both the cases, how you are managing your objects is different architectures here. And I'll try to cover one more framework as a example, as because that framework is slowly adopting by the people. That is also Cucumber, but it's combination of standalone and the Cucumber both. Okay, so totally you will get 3 frameworks. So in this, mainly framework consists of these locators, and as well as how you are maintaining your test cases and the locators and the test data. and the properties of the application, and as well as the reporting structure and the execution formatting. This is the framework structure which we discuss.
Okay. So there will be some challenges with other automation testing tools, right? Let's say you have the object might be the path might be the same, or like the object are like same, but they dynamically it will change. So will we able to identify with Playwright?
So first of all, whatever you take in the Selenium, everything can be achievable by here. Okay,
Hmm?
compared to Selenium, this is more trending. Why? Because of the weights and the dynamic handling of the elements. So in the Selenium, what we do is whenever we do the driver.findBy, in the in the driver.findBy itself, it tries to find the element. Okay. So but in Playwright, it's not like that. The architecture is defined at the actions level. Whenever you try to perform any action, in that particular action, Playwright implemented a standalone checks before performing the action. So suppose if you want to enter some data to the text box, so that text box you will pass the element, but immediately it won't check for the element. Whenever you are trying to perform the action, so so here is the fill action in terms of text box. So in the fill action, it checks different checks. So whether the element is visible or not, element is stable or not, and element is editable or not. So all these checks will be done by Playwright itself internally. You no need to do much coding here. So that's why people are adapting to the Playwright. Okay, so I'll show you the trends how the people are migrating. So these are the three major JavaScript TypeScript tools, okay, used across the industry. If you see, this is the I'm not giving any false, right? This is a npm. How many downloads has been done in the Node package manager, which is a Node.js. So based on that, we can treat that many people are adopting to the new tool. Okay, so if you see here, I gave the major automation tools which are available in the Node.js industry. One is a Cypress, Playwright, and WebDriver IO. WebDriver IO means here is a Selenium. So here, if you see here, Selenium is a long lasting. I'll give you the maximum time, all time. So Selenium is almost, it is there from 2013 onwards. It is there almost, if you see, this is the Selenium line. So this line is almost everything is just stable. So whoever is adopted earlier in the olden days for the maintenance purpose, still they are maintaining those projects. So Playwright comes in a almost 2021. Okay, but the adoption is started happening from mostly on 2022. So I started my work on the Playwright is mid of the 2021. So 2022, almost most of the people are started working are adopting to the Playwright. If you see in the last mid of the 2023, it started a huge spike how many people are adopting to the Playwright, if you see. Okay, the similar way Cypress is also there, but it says Playwright curve is crossed, or the adoption is crossed by Cypress. So you can come to the situation of which people where more people are adopting to the which tool. You can see the clear direction. Most of the people are navigating to the Playwright. Why? Because it comes with the beautiful features and the less work burden. We can so in Selenium, if you are writing single script for a single test case, it might take 30 minutes, but in Playwright we'll able to achieve in 15 minutes itself. Okay, so that's how people are migrating to the Playwright. And but Playwright is available in other language bindings as well, so that's why most of the people whoever is flexible in their other languages, they are migrating to the Playwright compared to the Selenium. Okay, so the main intention is to where you can come you where you can fix this Playwright is where you have a requirement for only the web-based application and the API testing, rest assured API testing. So in these two areas only you can do the full-fledged advanced features testing with the Playwright. Okay, but when you have a dependency with the mobile testing, Playwright doesn't support any mobile testing or desktop testing, only supports web-based automation with a mobile view or web-based desktop view. Okay, and the rest assured API automation. So all these three things can be covered in the Playwright. And if your requirement says you have to use a Appium or Selenium, so Selenium only supports, Appium only supported by the Selenium, so you have to adapt to the Selenium for mobile testing. There is no alternative way in the current industry. Okay, so if you are going for a licensed, there are many tools, but only in the open source market, only the Selenium plus Appium for mobile testing. For desktop testing, desktop web automation, only the Playwright is the leader in the current market. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so I'll just give you some introduction about Playwright, where you will get benefited with this Playwright. So most of the people are experienced or fresher. Any fresher is there. So you might aware of automation testing. I don't want to cover this because this is main intention is to keep what is automation testing, where it used, and how it helpful for the testing team, and where it reduces increase the efficiency and reduce work burden on day-to-day work. So let's come to the Playwright. Playwright is a Microsoft Edge team. Is developed by Microsoft Edge team, and it's a open source. First of all, it's a free. You don't need to pay any single rupee. It's a play. It's a in-house for the Microsoft, so you can trust this tool. Most of the people. That's why. So if some tool is promoted, then you will adopt. But here the tool is coming from the major IT Gain, which is a Microsoft. So that's why most of the people are adopting to the Microsoft Playwright. Okay, so here we'll do all types of actions, whatever we do in the Selenium or other automation tools, compare it to the other automation tools. Here you don't need to much worry about the switching to the frame, switching to the tabs, or switching to the nested queries. Okay, so all these things will be handled by Playwright itself. You just need to chaining the process. So if you know the chaining, the locator chaining, you'll able to handle all the frames, all the uh, windows, all those things. But here in Selenium, we'll call the driver as a session for everything. Here we'll have a browser. So we'll call the browser. From the browser, for every tab, we'll create a page. Okay, so each page will do some operations. So page means here it's a single tab. So if you see, so all these are multiple tabs. So one page is refers to this particular tab. If you are creating a new tab, it will be treated as a another page. Okay, so it supports API automation, but most of the tools you have to adopt for the web automation one tool and API automation for other tool. So, but Playwright comes with a bundled. You can use Playwright for both web and API automation. You don't need to depend on any other automation tool. So here, if you see, it supports JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, C Sharp, Java. So these are the main languages which are widely used by the most of the developers or the testers in the industry. Okay, so it supports all major browsers: Chromium, Firefox, Chrome, WebKit, and Edge browser as well. So Chromium is the free open source browser, open source code available browser. So using the Chrome and the web Edge browsers has been implemented, and WebKit and Firefox is totally source code is different. So Playwright comes with a single unique API which handles automation of three different browsers. But so in other automation tools, you have to manage all the drivers. You have to download all the drivers every time, or you have to manage the driver every time. but Playwright comes with a single command where it installs everything whatever you required. Okay, so these are the major differences between the major Playwright and Selenium. Why? Because I took the Selenium as a competitor, because Selenium came in almost 2010 onwards. It was there, but the major adoption is happened from 2012 as Selenium 2.0 is introduced. From there onwards, Selenium is hugely adopted by the industry, as because there is no open source tools at the time. But from 2018 onwards, there are tools are started, like Cypress, and 2020 Playwright is started. But before Playwright, it was called as a Puppeteer. So Puppeteer is maintained by the Google team. So the total team was converted from Google to Microsoft. Again, they reinvented the same Puppeteer to the Playwright, rebuild the everything, but with the additional features. Okay, so here you will see the major differences between the Playwright and Selenium. So browser support, it supports all major browsers, and Selenium also supports all major browsers. There is no difference. Only the Internet Explorer additional one it is supported. So but this Internet Explorer will be downgraded, as Microsoft announced in the few years they will degrade this Internet Explorer. Okay, support. And the languages, it supports all languages, and Selenium additionally supports Ruby. Very less community people will use this Ruby as a language binding for their testing, but most of the people will use a Java or TypeScript. This is a two major areas where people will use, and the next is Python, and the next is C Sharp. So these are the four languages people will adopt to the in the automation or development. Okay, so here you have a comprehensive documentation. If you go to the Playwright Dev, you will have a lot of documentation, but I'll show you the sequence what you can learn. There are a lot of things you can learn in this documentation. You need to refer to any other things. Okay, so Selenium also having a extensive documentation, and there is a huge community, as because it came almost 15 years back. So that's why whatever you have question, most of the questions you will get answers for the Selenium, the Stack Overflow, or some other platform. But in Playwright, it's a growing community where whatever you have any questions, so those questions you can directly post to the Playwright team. So Playwright team will answer your question directly in the Playwright GitHub channel itself. You no need to depend on any open source also. Okay, so you'll get suggestions from direct Playwright team. And even if you are expecting any new feature to be implemented in Playwright, you can give the suggestions to the Playwright team, where they will check the priority of that. They will implement that feature in the Playwright core repository. Okay, so all the browsers whatever is supported by Playwright, all the browsers headless mode execution is supported by Playwright. What is headless mode? So headless mode, in the sense, when you are visually seeing the browser, that will be called as a headed mode. Headless mode is the visual representation will not be there, but it will be running in the back end. It won't open in a visual representation mode for the execution. So headless mode execution is fast compared to the headed mode. So all the headless mode browser executions are supported by Playwright, but in Selenium it is supported by Chrome and Firefox only. Okay, so Windows, Mac OS, Linux are supported by Playwright. Here also the same thing. Additional Solaris is supported, but most of the users will be used by the Windows or Mac OS only. Then the third preference will go to the Linux. Okay, so faster than Selenium comparatively, and maybe slower than. So here it is too slow compared to the Playwright. Simply say. So built-in, it comes with the built-in browsers, and the as well as the driver files. Everything comes with a single command. But in Selenium, you have to depend on the drivers. So if something driver is not available, again you have to wait for the driver to be released from the official documentation. So there is another one to highlight why Playwright people are adopting. So the scripting, as I said already, So if you are taking 30 minutes to implement a single test case in the Selenium, Playwright comes with a 15 to 20 minutes itself. You can complete the same test case in the Playwright. And the script effectiveness compared to the Selenium, it's more script effectiveness. You can see what is happening in each and every line in the Playwright. Even in the Selenium also you can do, but the effectiveness is more in the Playwright. And the pass rate, I really comfortable with the Playwright. Why? Because I was almost 4 years, 4.5 years I worked on Selenium. So after that I moved to Playwright. I see in Selenium every day I used to execute my test cases on the pipelines. I used to hardly see 75 to 80% as a pass rate, but in Playwright I'm able to achieve up to 95% in the execution. Okay, so execution pass percentage. Why? Because this is most important parameter for any automation tester who utilizing the automation as a best in case. Because every day automation testers or testers has to validate the test cases what they are doing. So those test cases, if 100 test cases you are running, 75 test cases are passing, 25 is failing every day, means for validating those 25 test cases on everyday basis, it takes 1.5 hour to 2 hours, whether that particular test case is working or not. So if you reduce that count, how many failure count, so automatically you are saving your time. So here is the Playwright comes with almost 90 to 95 percentage pass rate every day. You will see if you maintain your script effectiveness more. Okay, so the execution time. So Selenium takes 10 minutes, but Playwright comes with the automatic waiting concepts inbuilt. So that's why it takes 5 minutes to for the execution. So it's a majorly based on the uh, it's based on the browser how the page is being loaded. But in the Selenium we have a static waits where we need to sometimes we don't get the controls in the Selenium, but Playwright we can control everything. Okay, so here the test result analysis also. So Selenium you don't have any auto suggestions or anything AI driven ones, but Playwright comes with a AI driven automatic suggestion. If some test case is failed, why it got failed exactly, it will give you a make sense of the things, and it will give you the recording, the video, and the screenshot and the logs, everything you will get in a single trace itself. But in Selenium you have to manually handle all these functionalities to achieve in the Selenium, and you have to adapt to the different dependencies to maintain these things. Okay, so this is all about Selenium for the introduction.